here's the good news. Voters don't have to wait until the midterms to register their opinions about what Donald Trump and Elon Musk are doing to the government and to our privacy and to our national security. That's because there's a governor's race in Virginia, a big, important purple state in 271 days. Like all governors in Virginia, Glenn Youngkin is term limited to a single term. And so this is a campaign year. And with what this White House is doing now, that is going to be on the ballot this year. At a town hall this week in Loudoun County, Virginia, hundreds showed up to the point that people were standing in the lobby. One person told a WTOP news reporter, quote, "Every day for the last week or two, everyone has been scared. Everyone's afraid every day the other shoe's going to drop and we're going to get cut," end quote. This isn't just about federal workers and what happens to them. Federal workers are not just a thing. They work for the American people. Like veterans, like preschoolers, like cancer patients. What happens to all these people? So for the do something folks out there, there is no reason to wait until 2026. The time is now. Joining us now is the candidate for governor of Virginia, Democrat Abigail Spanberger. She's a former CIA officer and a former member of Congress. Great to see you. Thank you for being with us tonight. You really put flesh on this issue, right? These are real people like you who we don't know about. We don't know about the intelligence officers in this country. We don't know about the people who work for the CIA who are dealing with threats right now, nor do we know about the air traffic controllers or any of these people. When it works, it works. And we're being given the argument that it's unimportant to continue down the road that we're on.
Well, Ali, thank you for having me on. And let me tell you who some of these people are, because they are Virginians, so many of them. They are the nurse at the VA who takes care of our nation's heroes. They are the Social Security employer who ensures that our grandparents get their Social Security checks. They are the law enforcement officers who keep our country safe from terrorist threats the world over. They are the intelligence community members who spend every single day working to keep their neighbors safe. They are the air traffic controllers who work day in and day out to avoid tragedy. They are moms and dads and community members, and they are Virginians. And this is, yes, about them. And for them, it's a kitchen table issue, but the impact, the idea that we would have a president and a governor who's standing by, as said president says, we're going to push them out of the workforce. I mean, this is a kitchen table issue in Virginia, but the impact is substantial across the entirety of the country.
Talk to me about, somebody asked me this today. We have a low unemployment rate in this country. Places like the CIA and the FBI, you don't train these people in a week. These are hardworking people. What does this actually do to national security? You give all these people their buyouts, they leave, in theory. Then what? Do we just have fewer of these people around? We've just decided there are too many CIA analysts and employees?
Talking about the Virginians who serve every day at CIA, and I'm a former CIA officer. I worked undercover for my entire time with the agency. But these are people with language skills. These are people with specific, well-honed skills, a focus and a devotion to national security. They're people who could choose to have jobs in the private sector that, yes, are far more lucrative, but they are people who are driven to serve a mission. And year after year after year, not only do they bring their skills and their talents to the cause, to the mission of keeping the American people safe, but they learn and build upon those skills. You do not become an intelligence officer overnight, just as those who are investigating everything from terrorism to bank robberies to large-scale fraud cases learn that skill overnight. And so the reality is that what is happening, the chaos that we are seeing out of Washington, the chaos coming out of this administration, it is, yes, impactful to the Virginians that I have served and look forward to serving again as governor. But it is impactful to Americans across the country. The thing about the intelligence community is, ideally, when things are going right, you never know what they're doing.
Yeah. That's right. As for so many other government applications. Here's one that maybe people don't associate with the federal government: community health centers. Community health centers receive funding from the federal government. Much of that funding has been involved in this freeze. This is where people get their health care. This is actually a life and death matter. So is national security and intelligence, but people may think that's distant and removed. Community health centers are not distant and removed from their lives.
No. As I've been traveling across Virginia in my campaign for governor, from Southwest Virginia to Hampton Roads this past weekend, Southwest the weekend before, this is an issue that people have brought to me. The reality is community health centers, they serve communities from the most rural of parts of Virginia, across the entirety of our state. They deliver health care in places where people need it. And what we are seeing is there are, at this point, currently by the numbers, more than 100 health centers in Virginia that don't know how they're going to keep their staff on. They have not received the funding that they need. And the implications of this are this chaos coming out of the White House. It is dire. It is absolutely dire. And this is the impact we are seeing here in Virginia. I'm hearing about it in every corner of our Commonwealth. And the sad reality is I know that it's happening across the rest of the country as well.
Abigail Spanberger, thanks for joining us tonight. We appreciate it. Abigail Spanberger is a former United States congresswoman and a former CIA officer and is running for governor of Virginia.